Gradient can be a great tool to spice up your deck as well. To apply gradient, right-click your object and select Format Shape. Here, you can select Gradient Fill and then move on to the gradient stops. Select one of the stops and adjust the color, the transparency of the stop, and also the brightness of the stop. You can also select the direction of the gradient. To apply gradient on text, select the text, go on to select Text options on the right panel, and then select Gradient Fill to apply the gradient on the text as well. So the process of applying gradient is very easy. The question is how to select the right colors for the gradient. The first type of gradient is hue gradient, by applying different colors on the color wheel. Rule number 1, as a beginning, avoid using colors with strong contrast, which are colors that are very far away on the color wheel, as they're trickier to use and requires more experience. A safer way to apply hue gradient is to use analogous colors, meaning to select colors that are next to each other on the color wheel, such as blue to green, yellow to orange, and red to purple. Analogous colors blend well together, creating a smooth and subtle gradient. Here are some examples of analogous gradient. This is from purple to blue, from sky blue to darker blue to purple, and from purple to red. As you can see, they look smooth and well blended together. But if you really want to use contradicting colors, there's a way to smoothen the gradient, which is by lightening the colors. Take this set of contrasting colors as an example. You can increase the brightness of the orange and also the brightness of the blue to soften them so that they are less contradictory. These are some examples of very strong contradicting gradient, but after you have tuned up the brightness, they can all look soft and dreamy and nice together. Another kind of very common gradient is brightness gradient, which is to use the same color on both ends and then adjust the brightness on one side. You can even add one more stop in the middle and push up the gradient to create a metallic shimmering effect. These are some examples of brightness gradient. They are even more subtle than analogous gradient and therefore are very easy to apply. You can also make use of brightness gradient to brush up an infographics like this. For example, for each of the shape here, a red to dark red gradient is used. So gradient can be very helpful to enrich and lit up your deck. So don't be afraid and go experiment with it for a more refreshing look. The last type of gradient I want to share with you is transparency gradient, which is to adjust the transparency on one end of the gradient. You can first select your shape, go on to Gradient Fill, choose the color you like, go on to one of the stops and adjust the transparency accordingly. It is particularly useful when you want to overlap content on an image. Let's take this as an example. The text is hardly readable. To fix this, you can add a rectangle, select Gradient Fill, choose black in this case. For one of the stops, increase transparency to the maximum. Adjust the direction to be from left to right, and then push the text to the front. You can then fine-tune the gradient by adjusting the amount of transparency on both of the stops and even move the transparency stop a bit to show more of the image. This way, your photo can darken smoothly for your text to stand out loud and clear on the image. You can also use transparent gradient to extend an image and add text on it like this or this. Let's try it together. Take this image as an example. You can draw a rectangle in the same width as the image. For example, like this. Go on to select gradient fill. For one of the stop, you can use eyedropper to extract color from the image and use the same color from recent colors here. And then increase transparency to 100%. And for the other stop that is completely non-transparent, move it upward such that it covers the border of the image, and you will have a natural gradient effect like this. You can then add text or icons or whatever you like on top of the gradient block. Let's try another example. There are several ways for you to use transparent gradient to enhance the slide. For example, you can create a rectangle on top of the mobile phone and then select gradient fill. For one of the stops, make it white and make it fully transparent. For the other stop, select white as well and increase the transparency, but not 100%. You can also right-click the rectangle and select Edit Points to make the light more outward spanning. Don't forget to remove the lines, like this. Or you can create a hemisphere, like this. Adjust the point to make it more like a hemisphere. Rotate it. And adjust the scale like this. And then you can change it to gradient fill, choosing white again. Change the direction. And for the other stop, pick white as well and make it 100% transparent. Adjust the transparency of the other stop as well. And copy and paste to create a few more to even spice it up. Like this. You can even enhance the ambience by creating a rectangle on the side and then change to gradient fill again. Make one side completely transparent and then adjust the angle such that it fades from left to right. And then you can enlarge the rectangle to an extent you feel comfortable with and adjust the gradient stop as you wish. Next, you can duplicate the rectangle, flip it, and put it on the right. And then remove the border. Don't forget to push the text back to the front. With gradients on the side, we can create this sort of naturally fading effect into the background. So there really are a lot of ways to play with gradient, which are hue, brightness, and transparency gradient. If you need inspirations for gradient, here's a useful website, webgradients.com. Here you can find a lot of beautiful gradients for your inspiration. So have fun with it!